Boy, it must be tough for a creative getting typecast as only making one kind of thing. Slightly reproachful look to camera. Imagine the plight of Game Freak, cursed by the success of having made Pokémon to forever be the Pokémon guys, whom I inwardly dream of murdering every time my daughter makes me search through the couch cushions for baby Sylveon before she'll go to sleep, no matter how many Tembo the badass elephants they make. Yeah, I know you forgot about that. Well, no more, Game Freak must have cried. We're sick of being the Pokémon guys. Yeah, actually, in the wave of recent Pokémon games, that certainly comes across, Game Freak. Shut up! We're going to make something completely different to Pokémon. A game about going around the countryside combating weird magically infused forest animals and taking their power with the aid of another magically infused forest animal. And from the chrysalis emerged the caterpillar. I'm just fucking with you, Game Freak. Obviously, Beast of Reincarnation plays nothing like a Pokemon game. It's a gloomy post-apocalyptic hack and slash with sprinklings of Souls-like. And I'm prepared to say congratulations, you are no longer the Pokemon guys. Now you're the poor man's Platinum games. Actually, not even that. You're the dude who watches the windscreen of the poor man's Platinum games. Probably doesn't help that yet again its standard science fiction anime plot. It's the post-apocalypse, mysterious creatures have wiped out most of humanity, have to be fought back by young, very photogenic individuals with superpowers in some way related to the mysterious creatures, and for some reason have to do it with the aid of tanks on legs. You're just fucking given one right at the start as your main form of transport through the wilderness. Wouldn't a vehicle with caterpillar tracks be more practical? No, it must have legs. It's in the charter. So yeah, it's a little bit Nier Automata, it's a little bit Attack on Titan, it's a little bit Stellar Blade, it's a little bit that other one with the name that sounded like a euphemism for vagina. Scarlet Nexus, thank you. Our protagonist is Emma, a cute anime sword girl tasked to defeat a bunch of giant infected woodland creatures that all look like what would happen in Pokemon World if there was a major civil war between the grass types, and she's aided in her quest by a big sword, a dirty great wolf with grass type powers, a few grass type powers of her own, and a personality like a decommissioned electrical socket. I feel like this comes up a lot in anime. Do they really think it's compelling for the main character to have no emotions? Lieutenant Commander Data has no emotions yet. Fair point. Are you Lieutenant Commander Data? No. Then shut the fuck up. Emma's diegetic lack of emotions, combined with the slow ponderous pace of all the dialogue scenes and the fact they mostly take place in the grey metal room on legs that is their home base and transportation, create a painfully dull spectacle. We've arrived at our destination, Emma. Okay. Time for you to go out and murder the wildlife. Okay. Oh, Emma, I am the underage helpless sidekick character who talks like someone in a vibrating chair sighing into a set of panpipes. Please be careful and come back safely. I have made your favourite sandwiches for tea. Okay. I was having a bit of trouble putting my finger on exactly how I was feeling about Beast of Regurgitation, until a colleague asked me, "Hey Yahtzee, how are you finding the game?" And put on the spot, I had a sort of revelatory moment. It's boring. That's what it is. It's really fucking boring. My god, what am I doing to my poor brain? It's only got like 40 years before the dementia sets in. And perhaps this deserves some props, because a game about bullfighting a giant angry glowing pig with a tulip for a face being boring has clearly put some real fucking effort in. We begin with a fairly standard cold cum blast to the face. Sorry, my mind wandered. A standard cold open cum combat tutorial, then flash back to some time earlier to do the actual first mission. And a routine is swiftly set. We explore an overgrown post-apocalyptic area, find a few hidden upgrade tokens, beat up a few scattered groups of angry robots and bear ficus hybrids until you reach the boss arena, wherein can be found a giant tulip-faced pig de jour. Kill it, their flower appears on Emma's ponytail, and we add to our arsenal another super attack to mostly not acknowledge, until we're looking for ways to burn the constant deluge of upgrade points we seem to get. And our ability to traverse the areas is augmented by Emma's grass-type Pokemon powers, which mean that she can rapidly extend horizontal vine bridges in front of herself, and after a simple jump, rocket 50 feet into the air on a giant wooden spike right up the mimsy. And again, it feels weird to describe this and ultimately come away with the game being boring, but the fact that we start with these movement powers means there's immediately no pushback to the exploration element. We can immediately go to the highest nooks and crannies of every area to cheerfully bang our heads on the invisible walls, and the end result is that the world feels very large, empty, and dull. At least there's the boss fights, but most of them are weirdly easy. The combat's based mostly around parrying, obviously. All hack and slash games are parry focused now, because it reminds the designers of all the fun they have deflecting requests to come up with a new fucking combat system for once. But the bosses all have like 2 combos each that are easily memorized, plus they're the size of 4 lashed together outside toilets, so it's hard to miss their tells. The fucking mini-boss samurai robots scattered throughout the maps are harder than the big bosses, because they know how to block, and are the colour of shit, so it's hard to read their tells as they're camouflaged against the backdrop of this quite shit game. Anyway, explore level, kill boss, get flower, but a few chapters in, this routine starts to waver. We meet a rival character who also has a sword and a grass-type Pokemon sidekick of their own that we have to fight. Then a mission arises not long after where I start exploring, and then Earpiece Bellend number 1 goes, "Oh no, the boss is being killed by that rival dude. It's a really awesome fight too, shame you're missing it." And then the boss of that area is just rival dude again. Game, did you run out of ideas for boss fights? No, rival dude isn't the boss fight of the next area. So who's the boss fight of the next area? It's the boss from the first area, but with more health. My list of specific complaints goes on. My big dumb dog sidekick has an occasional habit of getting in the way when I'm trying to navigate narrow spaces, like he's trying to push his head under my arm for a scritchy. I'm annoyed by the obligation to return to base it through boring circular conversations about the same shit and micromanage the fucking crop growing and cooking mechanics for the sake of minuscule stat boosts. The exploration is constantly accompanied by introspective lyrical music that sounds like the intro from some sentimental romantic anime about a girl with big dreams falling in love with her tennis partner or something, and it swiftly got on my tits. But I think this is one of those cases where the vibes tell us everything we need to know, and the vibes of Beast of Reading Tube Station are off. It feels like, let me think about this, it feels like I've shown up to a first date with someone and they've insisted that we sit either side of a really long dining table in a big empty room. Then she stares into space, pretending to eat salad while obviously pushing it onto the floor, and every half hour her gardener walks into the room, turns on the classical music station, and strangles a pig to death.